Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the exact same thing I did in my last video, but instead this time I'm going to be telling you how to play Starscream effectively in the extremely shallow Transformers Decepticons DS. These guides are obviously not going to be super long because, like I said, this game is not exactly the deepest when it comes to combat mechanics, but since I managed to explain Megatron's combat mechanics to you and all of his weapons and all the ideal attacks to use in different scenarios, I figure I would do the same here with Starscream. I mentioned in the previous video that I thought Starscream was actually a little bit more fun to play than Megatron, and I still stand by this. And I think I'm going to talk about his vehicle mode, even though I said last video I wouldn't talk about vehicle modes, just because I believe that Starscream has the best vehicle mode across both games. I think his is the best one, both for maneuverability and for attacking. But anyways, just like the Megatron video, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Let's start off with the melee attacks. So I'm not going to talk about the base melee attacking system. I already spoke about that in the Megatron video, where I talked about which button does what, and which attacks come out with whichever button combinations you press. If you want to know how the attack mechanics work in this game, or the basic combat mechanics work, go watch that Megatron video. It's I only just made it the other day. It's a pretty good video. You probably enjoy it if you end up enjoying this one. But anyways, we'll go over his main combos. So Starscream has a punch combo, and he also has a kicking combo. Just like Megatron, his kicking combo is pretty lackluster. There's a very long end lag to Starscream's kick combo. You'll see on screen now, there's no extra frames at the end of it. There's a few frames at the beginning of the move where he will deal some damage, but very quickly, I don't know how many frames exactly it is. It can't be more than maybe 1 or 2. The window to get an attack in on the third hit of this combo is really small. So just like Megatron, I would avoid using his kick combo unless you absolutely know something is going to hit. When it comes to his punch combo, this is, again, just like Megatron, incredible. The reach he's got on this is insane, if not probably the best reach out of any combo in any of these games. Starscream's directional punch combo has insane reach. He's able to reach helicopters in the sky, you can slap attack choppers out of the sky, you can destroy tanks in just a couple of hits. His damage is not quite on par with Megatron's. He is a little bit weaker than Megatron is, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter because he's a lot faster than Megatron is. I also really like the animation as well for Starscream's final hit on this combo. The final hit of his punching combo is really nice. It's just really satisfying to see him pull his wings off and slap everything with them in like this windmill, big overhand swing. It just looks so cool. It's a great animation. And it does a ton of damage too. And it's one of those, you can also kind of steer it. If you can see in the gameplay that I'm showing you, you can almost steer this attack. And I really like steerable, steerable moves. Those are always fun. So you can kind of attack multiple enemies in an arc if you aim it right. So if you have a helicopter to your left, a convoy truck to your right, and then you've got an SUV in front of you, if you aim the attack right, you can kind of hit all 3 vehicles in an arc. And his hitbox on this attack is great as well. It stays out for almost the entire animation. There's a lot of frames on this that are actually useful, unlike the kick combo. So basically, where possible, try to use Starscream's punches. He's very similar to Megatron in terms of hand-to-hand combat. Now let's move on to his guns. I want to talk about his weapons. Starscream's weapons, he has 2 weapons, and they are the same for both his vehicle mode and his robot mode. However, I'll talk about his vehicle mode ones in just a moment. His light attack is pretty weak. It's not anything special. It's strong, don't get me wrong, and it's really good for taking out helicopters, I've noticed. If you want to take out a helicopter quickly and effectively, just use his light attack. Another useful tip to know about his light attack is that you should probably only use it on enemies who are really low on health, just to save you shooting off your missiles. Your missiles take longer to come out than one laser beam from Starscream's chest. So I would suggest maybe if you're facing an attack chopper or a heavy tank or a convoy vehicle, fire off your missiles, fire off your heavy weapon, and then hit them with like 1 or 2 shots of the laser beam, and they'll instantly die. That's the same goes for almost every enemy in the game as well. Every basic enemy, that is, not including bosses, of course, because you do fight Barricade and Bumblebee as bosses, as Starscream in this game. So every basic enemy that you will fight as Starscream, that's just something for you to know. Don't worry too much about firing missiles at absolutely everyone and everything. It's actually a little bit quicker. If you fire off a couple of missiles and then you fire 1 or 2 laser beams off, you'll be just fine. You'll be able to take out most enemies in the entire game. If your heavy missiles don't take out whatever your target is in 1 hit anyway. And that'll bring me over to the heavy weapons. Starscream's heavy weapons are unlike Megatron's. They fire in a straight line. His missiles make a nice buzzing noise as they travel through the air. It's a really satisfying noise that they make. But they do a ton of damage as well. Most of the time, you'll find that Starscream's missiles will kill whatever your target is in 1 hit. Starscream does not play around. but his firepower is pretty crazy. You're going to want to use this on things like vehicles, grounded targets, and just like with Megatron, use his light weapon for airborne vehicles, although you can use his heavy weapon for airborne vehicles as well. When it comes to tanks and things like that, you're going to want to, just like I said, fire off a couple of missiles or fire off one missile, so you tap the Y button once and then you hold down Y to start using your light weapon, and it'll take them out a lot quicker than if you just keep spamming missiles, and it takes up less of your green bar as well, so don't waste as much of your green bar if you really don't need to waste it. That kind of covers it for Starscream's weapons. Since I covered a lot of the base mechanics in Megatron's video, made that video a little bit longer, I can actually kind of blow through Starscream's specifics quite quickly. That pretty much covers everything in terms of his weapons. I want to cover his maneuverability real quick. In robot mode, he's actually one of the least maneuverable characters in the game. He's probably got one of the slowest run speeds in the game. He jumps maybe 2 meters off the ground, whereas every other character seems to be able to jump like 1,000,000 feet into the air. He just has no maneuverability in robot mode, but that's what makes his jet mode so special. I think because he is so slow in robot mode, he is almost allowed to have a completely broken vehicle mode, and his vehicle mode is completely broken as well. I'll show you some gameplay in a moment where I just take out a ton of enemies in a very tight space with his jet mode. His jet weapons are off the charts. They're great. So where you can with Starscream, if you want to hold your ground in a threat neutralization, you really don't have to keep transforming. Starscream's enough of a tank, as is Megatron, that you're not going to need to keep running away or anything like that. But if the option does present itself, let it be known that you will almost never die as Starscream, same as Megatron. Almost no one is going to be able to kill you. Starscream is incredible in this game. And he also aesthetically is one of the nicest characters to look at as well. All of his animations really suit his character and all that kind of meaningless stuff really when it comes to gameplay mechanics. But I think he's just one of the better designed characters. I love characters with unique animations because a lot of characters in this game do share animations, and Starscream is one of the few that has unique ones. So if you're trying to run around, be maneuverable, you're not going to want to use Starscream's robot mode. Starscream's robot mode is his tank form, and his vehicle form is what you want to use to get around. Obviously, with him being an F-22 Raptor, that should be self-explanatory, but just in case it isn't, I thought I'd let you know. Anyway, now let's talk about his vehicle mode. Now, I said in the last video, or maybe it was the video before that I don't want to talk about vehicle modes because they're really kind of irrelevant, and for the most part they are, but I think I've changed my mind on that significantly. When it comes to Starscream's vehicle mode, he's really in a league of his own. Megatron's vehicle mode is big, it's bulky, and you crash into everything. Starscream's vehicle mode is a little bit smaller, and it's actually better. His weapons are better, they deal more damage. His missiles that he fires off, they come out really quick. His rate of fire is insane. He's able to just pelt enemies with missiles at insane speeds, unlike Megatron's little bouncy bombs that, as someone commented on the previous video, yeah, they're great, but they do miss the target a lot of the time, and their homing isn't amazing either. Starscream has homing missiles in his jet mode. You fire at something when you're locked on, and you are 90% of the time going to hit your target. When it comes to destroying basic cars, this is almost a one-hit kill every single time if both missiles hit. If both missiles from Starscream's jet mode hit, your target is toast, and there is absolutely no chance they're going to survive, whether this be a basic helicopter or any basic military vehicle. Even tanks sometimes will fall at this attack. You can one-shot almost everything with a fully charged jet missile from Starscream in this game. It is pretty insane. It's kind of crazy. His other weapon, his light weapon in his jet mode, is also just the same as his robot one. But again, his light weapon is not what you want to be using in jet mode anyway. I really wouldn't worry about it. Forget it exists. Forget Starscream even has a light weapon in jet mode. It's completely useless anyway. You want to be using those missiles. Starscream's jet mode with the missiles are crazy. They are off the charts. You can exploit the barricade boss fight with this as well, and I'll go over that in a separate video a little bit more in depth. But his jet mode is crazy broken. It's a lot of fun to use as well. He's super maneuverable. You can get around almost every single obstacle in the game with the strafing mechanics. If you really mastered the strafing mechanics as well, you'll never crash into anything. You're going to be able to zoom around the maps, one side of the map to the other in just a couple of seconds. He's able to escape situations a lot faster than Megatron is as well. His controls in jet mode just feel a lot tighter too. Overall, he's just a faster, tighter Megatron in the most PG way possible. So I do think that Starscream is probably the most fun character to play in this game. Whether he's the best or not is up to you to decide. This isn't a tier list video. If you think he is better than Megatron, let me know in the comments below. If you don't think so, again, let me know, and let me know why. I do wish the multiplayer for this game was still active. I wish there was some form of online multiplayer that was possible to still play, because I'd love to be able to play it with you guys, and I'd love to be able to experiment and definitely see who is the better character between Starscream and Megatron. I remember playing the multiplayer when I was a child with my grandparents, but they didn't really do much besides just shoot at the wall. There there wasn't much of a competition. I would love to actually know which character is the better one between these two, because the stats in this game are not always accurate. Anyways, that's pretty much everything in this game that has to do with Starscream. All the basic tips and tricks that you're going to need to know to play him a little bit better. I'll cover his individual boss fights and levels later on in a separate video. But anyways, that's the end of it today. Let me know which character you want to see a video for next. I will cover all 10 of them in this game. I'm pretty sure there's only 10. I won't be covering the custom characters, but I will be covering all of the main characters from the game. But anyways, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next one.